Here's Earl Grey. Today I want to continue my videos about the comic books from Francois Schuiten. This book is one of those he has done with his brother Luc. Luc Schuiten is or was an architect, and since both brothers were interested in architecture and weird, fantastic sci-fi stories, the collaboration between them is somehow of a certain consequence, logic in a way. So this book here is a collection of short stories, each one very distinct from all the others, at least as far as the art style goes. Each story has more or less simple premise. So for an example, the first one here deals with the question, what if there will be an apocalyptic world where the environment is so toxic that the human beings have to wear armors to keep them safe from the environment? And what if they want to have sex, want to touch each other, and weren't satisfied with the technological solutions for intercourse? So that's a theme that goes through these stories, the relation between man and woman and the difficulties that may occur. So, and this story is clearly a vehicle as well for graphic and graphical story art tricks, if you want to call it effects, so that Francois Schuiten can show off or show his skills to us. In a way, these stories are a bit like a folder of an art student where he wants to impress the art school and get good grades or so. But I don't complain. Yeah, and you see here it comes to quite a bitter end. So in between the short stories there are some snapshots of this future worlds the Schuiten brothers are creating. The second story is not so much sci-fi story, but more so a story about a relationship between this man riding a bike and shown from unusual perspectives from below the earth. And the story is done in quite different way, just with color pencils in many layers. Here you have the unusual perspective, and this man tends to dissolve himself in cubes and layers. And this is clearly sort of a visual metaphor for his emotional state, because this lady here is the reason for his dissolving, emotional dissolving, because she doesn't let him get near her, and he wants to touch her and all this stuff, but it doesn't go too well with this couple. So he gets angry and splits up in these layers. I could instantly relate to this story back then, because I was in a quite similar, desperate state of longing for specimen of the opposite sex. So, this story spoke to me, and it still speaks to me, because it's just and simply a very good example how a story works that's based on a very simple premise, but it's so effectively done. Somehow I wish that this story will be reprinted somewhere, because these colored pencils aren't printed too well on each panel, and I think modern printing technique will do better than that. Okay, next story here continues this theme of relationships between men and women. But here it becomes a bit more difficult, because there's a love triangle going on between a man and a woman, freshly married, and a planet in a computer, sort of a computer in the middle of this planet here, that has its own desires for the female one. It's sort of an organic, technoid thing that is a bit godlike, but has his very human desires for the lady here, and that's pretty graphic. Who am I to complain about that? And I didn't complain back then, for sure. And art-wise, you see already the great skills of Francois Schuiten, of course. His characters are looking quite already like they used to in later stories, and these characters have to deal with crazy situations the Schuiten brothers throwing at them. And here we have a short story where a spaceship collects human specimen of past times, sucking them in like a great Staubsauger, dust collector. Here are some buildings that play a certain role in the last story. in vertical and horizontal sections, invented and laid out by Luc and Francois Schuiten. Astonishing world building. You get really the impression that the Schuitens know what they are doing, that they're that this world they are telling is coherent and well mapped out, and is a good basic for later stories, even though not every story in this collection, Carapaces, is free of cliché and sometimes a bit too simple and maybe relies on nudity a bit too much. But again, I'm the last one who wants to complain about that. Yeah, some great panels, and with this story about the dissolving guy on the bike that I've shown you before, there is one of the greatest stories Francois Schuiten ever drew in this book. So, I think that's enough for today. Next time I want to show you these two books here, Nokigon and the Hollow Earths, Zara. Two books also written by his brother Luc. So, but until then, thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.